Ms. H.N. Nangula. Introduction, assignment and question paper layout and requirements. Dear students, let me welcome you to the PowerPoint presentation of Art, Music, Dance and Drama. The main aim is to equip you as a teacher to enable you to transfer the necessary knowledge to your high school learners. This PowerPoint will not cover every single chapter in detail, but in fact, it will give detailed explanations to areas as well as questions to this subject that seem to be a bit tricky to students. It will also serve as a scope in one way or another. Take note, all chapters in this subject are equally important, but more emphasis will be put on certain areas where students need more explanation in, I beg your pardon, take note, all chapters in this subject are equally important, but more emphasis will be put on certain areas where students needed more explanations in the past. Unit 1. This unit has to do with aims of visual arts education. Look into the various aims. They will definitely, in the assignment or in the exams, they will ask about the aims. What are the aims of arts education? Why do people have to study arts? Why is it important? So find out what the aims are. Look at the 5 distinct areas of arts education. Ask yourself whether you can differentiate between drawing and painting. I remember, I see last year's paper, I think, there was students mixed up these two. In the paper, sometimes in the paper they will ask you to differentiate between drawing and painting. When this question is asked, please explain the difference. Say, for instance, drawing is this and this and this and this, and painting is like this. How do they differ from each other? They want to know that drawing, when we are dealing with drawing, is this and this. When people paint, they do this. Unlike when you are asked to write the definition, then you define. Drawing is when that's this and this. And painting, for instance, you said, you define, you say what it is. In painting, write what is needed there. But there should be a difference. Say exactly how they differ from each other, and if you differentiate, just write the definition. Don't mix the two, it's not the same thing. Find out who your local artists are. They might even assist you here and there. I'm talking about the student teacher now here. Find out, and sometimes if needed be, go to some exhibitions, go to some shows, go to whatever, it depends what form of art you want to attend, but find out locally already, not only in the book, go out and see and learn also from other people. Unit 2. In this unit, we're going to concentrate more on picture drawing. The directions of lines are important when designing an art piece. Are we talking about diagonal lines? Are we talking about horizontal lines? What type of lines are we talking about? What type of drawings is it? What type of piece? Is it an art piece? Is it a dress? For instance, you learn fat people have to wear these lines, thin people are more, or they look better in such lines. Let's see and go to page 58 and find out about these designs and pieces. The usage of different types of colors in art, page 67 to page 70. You're going to find the answer there in your module. Look at these pages. Different type of colors in art. How do colors play a prominent role? What are primary colors? What are secondary colors? What are color hues and so on? Find out all this type of things. How do people mix colors? If you mix that one and that one, what color does come out there? And also find out also, make questions for yourself. For instance, which colors are warm colors, which colors are cool colors, and so on. There is so much about color. The color chapter is very, very broad. Focal point. What is a focal point? Define a focal point. There are so many things, or read and discover at least 4 places to create a focal point. How do I create it? How do I find out? When I talk about focal points, do you think is it only in drawing? Is it only, I think there is only when we talk about a range, like a vase of flower, for instance. Think about that, those flowers that stick out. Think about a dress, maybe that dot that is there. Think about a normal painting. What is a focal point? That point that stands out. Find out and write all those which is needed. There are 4 places, 80 places. Find those answers as you go on. Unit 3, how to make models. What's a model? How do I make it? The importance of shapes, the relationship between the shape, meaning, and symbolism in art. Those are found on page 120. What are shapes? There are so many ways where people use shapes. In mathematics, for instance, we have cones, we have triangles, we have triceps, we have so many things that we do in mathematics. They use all those type of shapes. Not only there are also many other shapes. When people maybe come to a conference, for instance, sometimes they use pictures, but sometimes they use shape. A shape that tells you this is a ladies' toilet. Some points and pictures that tells you do not enter there, or toilets this side, or hotel ahead, and so on. Different shapes give you different meaning, and it gives you different messages. Please read on page 120 until 122. Then you find out about the relationship between shapes. How to manage a lesson where learners are involved in modeling activities. Now, dear teachers, find out or teach your students how to manage a lesson. Even yourself as a student, when you have to manage a class, you are now done with studies and now you are teaching, you are alone there with the learners. What will you do to manage, how to manage a lesson where learners are involved in modeling activities? How will you manage that lesson? How will you teach modeling to those lessons? How will you make sure that the right instruction is carried out? Read and see what will you convey to your students. Unit 4, collage work. What is collage work? Please define what collage work is. A lot of time when we hear about collage, we just think about different pieces that you put together, but we have to go deeper. Describe box construction. That's the first point there. Then we are going to find out, illustrate and clarify how to involve learners in collage activity. For instance, tearing, folding, cutting, pasting, collage, and montage. Benefits of box construction. Box construction, find out what it is. When is it okay to put big boxes on smaller boxes on big boxes, and so on, and what boxes are they referring to here? Box construction, please find out the definition, learn what it is, illustrate and clarify. What is that? Illustrate is not only about drawing. Illustrate is also to explain. Give a clear illustration. Give a clear, explain nicely so that the person can understand and clarify. When it says clarify, please give clarity. Explain, describe, give, so that the concept is clear. Clarify how to involve learners in collage activities. How will the learners, for instance, with the first on tearing, how can they use scissors? How can they, not that one, how will they use the different magazines maybe, or how can they tear different pieces to put them again? Do they cut bigger pieces, smaller pieces? How do they do it? And then folding also, and then cutting, especially cutting. How will they cut? How will they hold the scissor? Are they putting the bigger pieces first? How will they manage to put the pieces together so that it form a picture? All those we have to teach our students and kids. It depends where you teach. And then pasting. After you have cut on all those, the cutting is done. You have torn the things apart. Now you want to paste them. How do you paste them? Which one do you put first? How much glue can you use? Let us teach the kids or the learners how to do this. Paste in such a way that the smaller pieces do not overlap, they do not go over the lines. All of them should be inside. If you are going to paste, or let's say make a picture of a flower or an animal, make it clear that someone can see from far what image we're trying to do. But it should not go over. Once it goes over the line, then it's not the right kind of collage work. It's not a masterpiece anymore. Teach also the kids to do very neat work and to wrap up when they are done. Then collage and bond, all those things is actually the same. They just talk about the different ways. Also, what about if they ask you, write a different way? There are many ways to do collage. Number one, tearing, then you write a small paragraph maybe there. Define folding, cutting, pasting, and so on. Or they can ask you, mention the different ways. It depends how they ask. And please don't forget to look at the number of marks they are giving, they are allocating, so that you don't mention too many and then waste your own time. Benefits of box constructions. What benefits does it offer? Are there really any benefits in the box construction? See what benefits are there and try to write them down. Then Unit 5, teaching and assessing visual arts. Now in your class, the learners have come up with, it depends what artwork it is. Maybe it's a doll, maybe they have drawn, it depends what we have asked them to draw. But they said teaching and assessing. How do you teach? What should the learners do? How do they come up with a certain thing? And when they are done doing this, how do you assess? How do you allocate marks? Are you looking about the presentation, how they present the work? Are they going to look how much effort they put in? What do you look at? Let's see. How a teacher should prepare before attempting an art lesson. How do you prepare the learners? You should tell them, for instance, what to bring to class, so that they know exactly. Tell them what they are going to do in that kind of lesson that you are going to teach. Prepare them beforehand. How must they come to class? How must they pack up? Should they work in groups? Should they work individually? All those things. If they say, write a lesson, for instance, how will you prepare learners? It's not always necessarily a lesson where you put date, class, school, but the method, the methodology is very important. How you to teach. Number one, I'll do this. Number two, I'll do this. I'll sit in my class and do this. It's very important how you prepare your class. How to manage order in an art class. Now, usually, when people are in the art class, especially the learners now, they will be so excited. Oh, can I create this? Can I do this? Come and look at this one. Of course, there will be noise. It will be very, very noisy. Now, how will you manage? How will you make sure there is order? On the pages where it's needed, I've given pages, but this one it's okay. You can just go to Unit 5 and find out to manage order in the class. For instance, you can ask the learners to get in smaller groups, or you can ask them to pick out the things first, or you can ask them before, or you can tell them before they enter even the class what you expect in class. How they must enter the class, what they should do in class, are they in groups, are they in pairs, how must they unpack the things, and tell them exactly how you want the work to be done, and how you are also going to evaluate and assess this kind of work. Presenting a practical art lesson, how can this be presented? This is very important, and this most of the time is asked in either the assignment or in the exam. What or how will one go about this? Presenting a practical art lesson. How can one present an art lesson? What should the person do? How you as a teacher will present it? Will you just come and already start doing things without learners or knowing what you are doing? First, you tell them what you are going to do and how you are going to do it step by step so that learners are able to follow. If you have to facilitate and learners do it, then you also do it step by step and they follow how you are going to do that practical art lesson. The purpose of assessment. Why do people assess? When do people assess? Why must people be assessed? Why? Assessment, I think it's very important both for the student and for the teacher. For the learners, it's feedback, it's giving feedback. The learner, you have to find out, they want to know, teacher, am I doing it the right thing? Now the assessment, the way when you allocate marks, let's say you give them 5 out of 10 or 7, then the learner know they are on the right path. So purpose is also giving feedback. You are on the right track or you are totally not in the right way. And also, assessment, it keep learners on track. They know, oh, I have to finish this work because teacher is going to assess it. I have to finish it and get good marks. So the purpose is to give feedback, is to make sure you are preparing the learners, is to it's not only giving feedback, but it's also to tell the learner that the learner is on the right track and the learner is doing the correct work. That's the main purpose of assessment. Unit 6. Here we have to do with basic music aspects. You know, when you talk about arts, it's divided in many components. I think by now you as an art student know already. It could be music, it could be dancing, it could be art itself, drawing, so it's many other components. But in this chapter, they're doing music, basic music aspects. Aims of music in education setting. Aims. Why is music important? Here, I think people usually do terminologies, they teach that and that, but where does music come in here? Is it really important? Why? What is the aim? Let's see. Define the following. They can ask you to do harmony, tempo, soprano, tenor, rhythm, bass, and so on. What is this now? The following terminologies. No one can sing if you don't know. No, I should not say this. I should not say no one can sing, but for you to understand music, you should know those terminology. When people talk about tempo, then you know what they are referring to. When you talk about harmony, the way the kind of voices flew in the music. Soprano, what is soprano? When you talk about soprano, is how do people sing pro soprano, tenor, all those things, what is it? First, one has to understand it to be able maybe even to teach a song. First, you have to understand all those. And then the role of music, I've said. Music genres and examples of each, what are they? What are the examples? Are we talking about jazz here? Are we talking about soft music here? Are we talking about? There are so many. Where did this originated from? Why is it so important? What kind of people have it? In Namibia, what kind of music do we have here? And so on. Depends. How to involve your learners in melodious activity. This one, people, a lot of learners, usually over the years, they mix it up. But this time, do it in such a way that you don't mix it up. What is required here? When you see this question, it says how to involve learners. It means this question, it's asking you as a student teacher, how will you involve your learners? How will you teach a melody? How will you teach a song so that the learners are involved? If you are teaching dance, if you are teaching maybe a certain song with different music instruments, or you are teaching, you are telling them about fables, and so how do you teach? How do you make learners involved? It means here you have to talk, and learners also have to be involved. Or maybe you have an outsider that come to class to come teach your learners or about certain dramas in the class. They say melodious activity. You have to show when should they clap their hands, when should they tap on a piano, when should they dance, when is now in groups, is it now in pairs, is it now maybe asking a learner to come in front of the class to present to the others? Is it now maybe asking a learner to sing a song, or you as a teacher, you sing a song and you stop in between and they have to fill it in? Or if learner have to clap the hands, where do they have to stop and where do they have to go on? And maybe you have different groups. The other group is listening and group B is all those type of things. How do we involve learners? So what are we expecting here? You have to write step by step. Maybe first I'll group the learners. Secondly, I'll make 2 groups or 3 groups, yes, or I'll do pairs first, or I'll ask a learner to do this and this. Please write step by step so that it's very clear how we can teach the melody. But melody should be there. We have to hear something here. Or otherwise, maybe you're going to ask and then the learners bring it to school so that you can sing. I don't know. It depends from the teacher. Please try out. I know there are a few examples in the module, but try to find out on your own. Put you in a position where you teach a song in class. Positive and negative effects of listening to music. What are the good things about listening to music? Music, sometimes when we have athletes, they like singing while they are walking. They put maybe their earphones and then they listen to the music. Or there are so many good ways about music. Some people even listen to music when they study. Some people do listen to music when they cook. Music is always a good thing. And there are so many. If you look up, you will find them. And what about the negative ones? We found that when we listen to music that is very, very loud, it's not a good thing. It can even make you sick. And it can also disturb the neighbors. It can disturb people around you, all those type of things. Also here, as a student, train yourself. First, write the positive aspects, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 points. It depends how many you can find. Or you can try to find the negative parts first. loud music is not good, music does this and this and this, all those type of things. Sometimes when people are sick, very sick, it's also it also make them feel better when they listen to the words. But on the other hand, music also transfer bad languages, especially the youth who they are listening to different music. Some are good, some they are swearing words and so on. So you should be able to do the positive part, test yourself, or the negative parts, or make a table for yourself and say this is the positive part and this is the negative parts. So it's up to you. But you should study that one. Application of music in sports and advertising. How do people use it? We see it all the time over the radio, over the TV. We see it in movies, all those advertising. Ackerman's Baby Company, all those type of things, PEP, even for HIV, that's how people are bringing out their messages through advertising and using music. Even if you were far, if you hear people singing, you don't have to be in class or some places, but if you hear, it already gives you a clear message. Application of music in sport and advert, so people do it in that way. Types of careers available in music. People can study to be a music teacher, for instance. Oh, there are so many. There are so many careers in music. People can see what they can do. There are so many. If they ask you to mention them, you mention them. But if they ask you to describe it, then you write maybe music teacher. A music teacher does this and this and this. Be able to write what is requested. Unit 7, dancing activities. Outline the importance and type of warm-up exercises before dancing. Is it really necessary for people to warm up? Yes. If you just start dancing, or even if you are a teacher and just do PE, a physical education, you cannot just say, "Oh, get up, let's dance already," or run around 10 rounds or 7, or start jumping. It's so important that people have to warm up first. Even in a dance class, warm up first, do some push-ups, stretches, depends what type of dancing you want to do, but warm up is so vital. Outline the importance. Why is it important? If they say outline, what are we expected to do here? Write down. Warm-up exercises are very important because this and this. Learners have to do this first. And secondly, they have to do this. Warm-up exercises. All the exercises, all the examples are there in the module. It tells you why is it important, so that you cannot hurt yourself, so that you can even the blood the flow of the blood is even okay when you have warm up first. You cannot just jump and start doing things, but first you have to warm up. Very, very important. Discuss physical health benefits of dancing. Why do people dance? How does it have to do with the health? People are getting most of the people that are dancers, I should really say they are healthy, because the blood flow is always it flows. It's not just quiet. Your body is always active, I should say. Physical health benefit. Find out what the benefits are. Are there really some benefits? What are they? Read and write them down. Find out, and even if possible, dance and see, I'm really feeling better after I have done this. It just even change your mood also. Mood changes and many other health benefits. Anatomical terms, you must also check that one. Anterior and posterior, page 286. What is it? When is it anterior and is it posterior? You should also know the positions. Because when you are going to tell the learners in the dancing class, you tell them, move like this, move forward, move backwards, lift up your leg, all those type of things. First, find out about those anatomical terms, and then you're going to do the right things which your students can follow. Unit 8, drama aspects. Under the drama aspects in this unit, we're going to learn about aims of drama education in a secondary setting. Why doing drama? Some people have even, those people that are usually playing in movies, they also do dramas in one way or another. People have to study practicing drama. People do it, even kids do it at school. Sometimes they organize even a drama show, whether they do it with puppet show. It depends what they portray, but kids enjoy it so much. Now, what is the aims? Why should people do it? Find out what the aims are in drama setting. Are they asking you to outline or describe? How to involve learners in miming. What is miming now? Miming is when you convey a message without saying something. You only do it. For instance, I can scratch my nose now, or I can just show and do, for instance, like this. What does that mean? Good. Scratching or maybe nodding your heads and so on. Miming. When you talk about drama aspects, it means learners are also able to carry out a drama or to do a skit or to do a play without any words. We call that miming. Now, how are you going to teach your learners to be active in miming? Maybe you can ask them in class to come in front, or maybe you have to write topics on the chalkboard and say, you are a taxi driver and these 5 people are passengers. Drive the taxi, ask for your money and so on. Without any words, please come and do it in front of the class or in the middle of the class, and I'm going to give you marks. Teach them how to involve them. Maybe you're going to ask for learners to come in the front, you're going to give them instructions, and they are going to learn what miming are, what miming is, and so on. Positive social impact on people. Positive social impact of movies on people. That one. What is this now again? What positive things can we find in movies there? What does it really teach people and so on? Movies can give good messages. People are learning to enjoy themselves when watching a movie. Maybe after a very long week or a very long day, very excited, and you decide, let me take my glass of a drink and enjoy this movie. What are the social impacts that movies have on people? You also have to go through that one and find out what they are. There is not only social impacts, there are good things and bad things. Now, the social impact, how do movies also teach people how to socialize? Sometimes movies teach us also good things, how people socialize maybe in other countries, in your own countries, everywhere. It depends. It depends what you are really learning, but it teaches how to also move socially. And then we have the negative social impacts of movies on people as well. How do movies, impact people negatively? What is that now? Movies can give people bad language, for instance. Sometimes you get these teenage movies or other movies as well, where people are exercising sex and so on, and then people are breaking things, they are killing. All they tell you is that it's the hero, which is actually a bad message. It depends. Negative social impacts. Sometimes movies teach the kids how to do the wrong things, stealing, all those type of things. It could have also a negative impact, sometimes a good impact, sometimes a bad one. Now, they can say, write only the negative one, or write the social one, or discuss the impact that movies have on people, the negative effects, or they can say in exam or in an assignment maybe, write or the social impact that movies have on people, the good points or the bad points, then you choose. Or they can ask you to write both, maybe 5 negative or 5 positive, so be prepared What must I write? So in Unit 8, if you read nicely, you are going to read what it is. Social impact of movies on people, I just talk about that one. Or they can take from the, read also different points. Maybe, how about if someone asks you, maybe perhaps saying, name 5 examples, bad examples that come from movies, then you should be able to write it. Or they can say 5 good things. It just depends what they're asking. But please read that chapter on movies. It is such a broad one. Read about that. Then after all those many things, I also want to put more emphasis on this general information. Go through the list of verbs used in the assignments and examination. They provide examples of thinking involved in each verb. Think about describe, outline, all those type of things. List, define, find out what these things are. Go there in front in your module, find out first, so that when you are asking an assignment or in the exam, you should be able to write. Sometimes people just look at the word movie in an aspect. They don't even look at the verb. What does it ask? What should you do? Do you have to describe or define? And then if you look there, you're going to see in your study guide there at Romanic figure 3 and 4. It's not page 1 or 3. Look at those funny numbers, the Romanic figures, we call them, and then see, you are going to find all those terminologies and verbs that can really, really be helpful. Then I'll just say good luck. I wish you all of the best for the upcoming examination. Or even if you're going to do your, for the examination actually. And then you're going to do your studies, you're going to study, you're going to test on a piece of paper, you're going to look at the old question papers if there's any, and see most of the things. Like I say, test yourself. Do they want a definition? Do they want a description? What is it that the examiner wants? Myself, Ms. Hilka Nangula. My email is hilka.nangula@gmail.com. Cell phone number, this time this one is correct, 081-273-2204. I'm always available 8 o'clock in the morning until 20 hours, Monday to Saturday. So the email is there, the cell phone number is there. If you cannot find me the cell phone number, please leave your email. I'll come to you as soon as I get it. I'll definitely come back to you.